Hi Gearspace, it's a pleasure having you here in our booth in Superbooth 2021. My name is Gur Milstein, and I want to show you the things that we've been working on for quite a while. Corona's put us in home. They forced us to sit at home, and they gave us quite a lot of time to do things that we always wanted to do. And I want to show you and share with you the first project that we released here at Superbooth, and that is our collaboration with Buchla to recreate the 200 series in a Eurorack format. This has been an ongoing project, and it will be an ongoing project because the series is quite wide and there are many modules. And the process needed to create them is actually far from easy because they have been done in the 1970s. Actually, even the very first one, if I'm not remember, started in the late 60s. So it's almost like an archaeological work, trying to dig all the information. And luckily, we are doing it together with the Buchla company from the US, and they have a lot of know-how which is not available on websites or even on schematic. It's what was really behind Don's ideas and why he created this system the way he created it. Much to be said about the workflow. If you look at the system, there's a lot of jacks, a lot of trigger inputs and CV outputs and audio ins and audio outs, and it's quite complex for probably the average user when they look at them. And the way Buchla system works is in a very, I would say, almost primitive way, where each component is a function. And when you patch those things together, you get things evolve over time, and that is due to the fact that these are discrete components. So some users are used to Eurorack modules which are self-contained. They have a sound source in them, maybe even an envelope. They almost produce things just by you plug in a trigger and you get sound coming out of them. But here you need to patch it yourself, and that's the beauty of the beast. It's all again goes down to being discrete. You patch program the thing, and one of the coolest thing about the Buchla system is that even when you go wrong, it's actually can be quite surprisingly pleasant with sounds that you didn't expect it. A lot of the sound of Buchla come from the FM. FM is a big part of the Buchla sound, and the 258 oscillators are extremely amazing doing FM sounds. Their sine wave is very nice and very clean, and they just seems to oscillate very smoothly. I've been designing many oscillators during the year, and there's oscillator that you can feel are kind of struggling to oscillate. Oscillate is a phenomenon in electronics where you feed back the signal and things start feeding back, and you are controlling the speed of that. But Don designs are, for some reason, the obvious reason, the guy invented the thing, works very smooth, and you can hear it. It's in the sound. And the second thing that is notable is that many of those modules use vectorals. Vectorals is a part that use light to control voltage, namely a resistance. And these has a special sound quality which is very organic, and they contribute a lot to what's called the Buchla sound. On top of it, if you go one layer up, is the fact that when you start patching all these modules together, then you start to really get the feel of the complexity and the sound you are getting out of the system because of how all these modules are integrated together. So I can speak obviously for hours about this. This is an ongoing project. It's wonderful. It's dear to me. It's something we wanted to do for many years, and I'm really happy that finally we got it done. As far as availability, we hope to be able to release it around maybe the winter this year. I hope we can get the first two modules, the 258 and the 281. It's going to be this guy over here and this guy over here. The others are that you see here in the systems are also ready, but as everybody knows, there's a serious shortage in materials and components these days. And one of the goals of this project is to make this very affordable for everybody. And buying parts in large quantity is a key factor for getting that done this way. So it's going to be a struggle to get the parts on one hand and keep the prices low on the other hand, but that's the goal and that's what we're going to be doing. So that is one thing we've been showing here in Superbooth. And the second thing we've been showing is two new effects modules from Tiptop Audio. They are extending our line of effects. We started 2 years ago with the Z5000, the Zverb, and Echoes, which are all of them are effect processor that are basically they are based mostly on time, meaning that's reverbs and delays with filters and all kind of modulation built into the reverbs and the delay feedback lines. And now we wanted to make something different, and we created two new ones, which are called, one of them is Mod Effects, and one is FSU. Mod Effects is really kind of like a standard chorus, flanger, filter type of effects. Now, when I'm saying standard, it's because their names are familiar to all of us, and we wanted to call them in that way, but they are sounding not necessarily that standard. It depends a lot on how you use the module, and especially the fidelity knob, which is an analog clock who drive the DSP chip internally. They sound really nice, doing just the normal job of a chorus, flanger, and filters, but they can also sound very interesting and wild at points. Again, depends on how you patch them. The second module is FSU, and FSU stands for FS up, so if you get what I'm saying. And what we mean by that is that what comes in comes out very, very differently. And the first bank is distortion, and it does all kind of typical distortion and non-typical distortions and type of ring modulation. It's very interesting because you can put something in and it doesn't necessarily will distort the sound so heavily, but it will turn it into a very wide stereo space, and that's part of the idea. But probably the two most interesting bank, at least for me on these modules, are the glitch and the sound on sound. Glitch is very interesting because it's a game of delays, but not your typical delays. It's glitching delays, and it's amazing on beats, and just to take anything which is very static and kind of make it dynamic in the stereo image. There's two heads where you can move things between on the left and the right. It's hard to explain. It's something you need to experiment. It's quite an experimental module. Sound on sound is taking the technique of like the old tape machine where you would record a sound and then another sound on top of it and another, like layering them one on top of the other. And this is really amazing because where you can, for example, take an oscillator, plug it in, open the input, let it load that sound. That sound will start loop. Then you change the oscillator to a different tone, open the gain again for a second. It will load that another sound. And you can get like massive walls of sound coming out of this. It's really amazing. And it's stereo. And each of those controls controls the left and the right speed of those playing heads. They're playing it forward, they're playing it in reverse, they do it granular. There's a lot of things that this thing can do, and I've been finding myself playing with this for hours. And funny enough, here again, because we have those systems sitting together, we have the Buchla sound going through the FSU, and it's actually complementing it quite nicely. So it's kind of nice to see how vintage and futuristic sits together quite well together. So I will ask Lorenzo to come and demonstrate the Buchla sounds for you. He will do a short demo, and after that, Konstantin will demo you the FSU and the mode effects. Thank you.